Chosen one, lean in, because this Saturday morning carries a weight far greater than you realize. This is not just another sunrise, not just another ticking of the clock. This is a moment that heaven itself marked long before you ever took your first breath. And right now, the air you're breathing, the thoughts stirring in your spirit, the strange restlessness you can't quite put words to it, is all confirmation. You are standing at the threshold of prophecy. You felt it, haven't you? That strange pull, that whisper in the back of your soul that says, something is about to happen, something beyond your control, something destined. You've been waiting for clarity, asking for a sign, searching for reassurance. And here it is this morning. This very moment was chosen to wake you up to the truth of who you are. You are not forgotten. You are not ordinary. You are a rare spark hidden in the shadows of a world that underestimated you. Chosen one, you are not here by accident. You are not even watching these words by chance. You were summoned. Heaven aligned the timing so that this message could reach you exactly now. Because the prophecy concerning your life is no longer dormant, it has awakened. The wheels of destiny have started turning, and you are being positioned where no human hands could place you. But hear me clearly, this is not about comfort. This is about calling. This is about why your path has been harder, why your nights have been heavier, why your spirit has been pressed beyond what most people can endure. The weight wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every delay, every betrayal, every silent season, they were shaping you for what begins now. And here's what's even more remarkable. The confirmation doesn't arrive with trumpets or public announcements. It comes quietly, like the dew that settles unseen on the morning grass. Yet once you recognize it, you'll know deep down, this is it. This is the sign that all the storms, all the waiting, all the battles had a reason. Stay with me, because as we go deeper, I'll reveal the prophetic thread weaving through your life right now. You'll see the blessing rising on the horizon. You'll understand why the opposition has been so fierce. You'll know why God singled you out in this hour. For today, the prophecy is not just a distant promise, it's being confirmed in the quiet unfolding of this Saturday morning. The question is, will you lean into it? Will you let the truth pierce through the noise of your doubts? Because what's about to be revealed will not only answer the questions you've been carrying, it will shift the entire direction of your future. You can almost feel it, can't you? That shift in the atmosphere, the sense that something beyond your control has placed a hand on your shoulder and whispered, "This is for you." That is not imagination. That is the voice of the divine moving through subtle signs, through inner nudges, through the stillness of this very morning. What you're sensing right now is heaven's way of saying, "I see you." The one who formed you in secret, who counted every tear that fell when no one else was watching, is the same one who is confirming the prophecy over your life today. You've been waiting for permission to believe again, and here it is, not from people, not from circumstance, but from the highest authority. Notice how the message doesn't come wrapped in noise or spectacle. It doesn't arrive in a way the world expects. It comes in stillness, because stillness is where truth has the clearest voice. The same God who spoke to prophets in visions, who parted seas and set fire on mountains, also delights in whispering directly to the quiet hearts that are listening. And right now, you are one of them. This is why the weight you've been carrying feels so different from anyone else's. Others can dismiss their struggles as random chance, but you've known deep down that yours were never random. They were calculated, designed, part of a pattern only heaven could design. Each hardship carved a deeper space within you, a space that could hold more light, more wisdom, more authority. And today, that pattern begins to make sense. The delays were not neglect, they were divine timing. The silence was not absence, it was preparation. The rejection was not abandonment, it was protection. Every season has been part of a conversation between you and God, one that others couldn't overhear. And now, in this moment, He is speaking more clearly. What I promised, I will fulfill. So as you hear these words, Let them settle deeper than just the surface of your mind. Let them anchor into your spirit. This is not a motivational phrase meant to stir your emotions for a fleeting moment. This is a transmission straight from the eternal to the temporary, from the unseen to the seen. You've asked for proof, and now the proof is before you. The very fact that these words have found you at this precise moment is the first confirmation, but it will not be the last. In the hours and days ahead, more will unfold, moments too precise to dismiss, alignments too sharp to ignore. You will know with certainty that this was not coincidence. Breathe that in. Allow yourself to believe that you are seen, guided, and covered by something greater than circumstance. Allow yourself to imagine that every step forward is being orchestrated, not just by your effort, but by the one who calls you worthy of destiny. Because this Saturday morning is not simply another sunrise, it is heaven's announcement. The prophecy that's hovered over your life, the words once spoken in secret or in prayer, are being drawn out of hiding. And as we continue, you'll understand not just that the prophecy exists, but why it had to unfold exactly this way. Think back for a moment to the quiet restlessness that's followed you through the years. The feeling that no matter what you tried, no matter how far you wandered, something was always pulling you back toward a destiny you couldn't escape. That wasn't random longing. That was the seed of prophecy planted in you long ago, waiting for the right season to bloom. And now, that season has arrived. The prophecy that hovers over your life is not a vague promise of better days. It is specific, detailed, and alive. It speaks of a rising, a lifting, a moment when the scales that tipped against you will suddenly tip in your favor. It speaks of a revelation so sharp it cuts through confusion and replaces it with unshakable clarity. It speaks of the hand of God bringing you into alignment with doors no one thought would ever open for you. This morning marks the beginning of its unveiling. Not because anything looks extraordinary around you right now, but because prophecy always starts in the invisible before it manifests in the visible. You might look around and see the same walls, the same routines, the same struggles, but inside the unseen, the blueprint is already shifting. Heaven has written your name into a new chapter, and this chapter begins with confirmation. The prophecy over your life is this: you will not remain hidden forever. The cloak that covered you, the silence that muted you, the shadows that tried to swallow you, they are being stripped away. You are stepping into a moment where who you truly are can no longer be denied. And yes, that will mean disruption. Yes, that will mean resistance. But it also means recognition. You have been refined in fire so that when this unveiling came, you would be strong enough to carry it. You've been kept in obscurity so that when your name rises, it cannot be pulled down by fragile foundations. Every loss, every unanswered prayer, every night you thought would never end, it was all part of making you unshakable. Do not mistake this unveiling as instant applause or universal acceptance. Prophecy rarely works like that. When Joseph received his dream, he was mocked and betrayed before he was elevated. When David was anointed, he faced giants and exiles before he wore the crown. The pattern is always the same: promise, preparation, unveiling, fulfillment. And you are standing in that third phase, the unveiling. The promise has already been spoken, the preparation has already tested you, and now the veil is being lifted. And here is the detail you must not miss. The confirmation this morning is not a conclusion, it is a catalyst. You will start to notice subtle alignments, conversations that echo words you've only thought in silence, opportunities that seem to come out of nowhere, dreams that return with sharper clarity. These are not accidents. They are echoes of the prophecy, reminding you that destiny is leaning in your direction. But be ready. With unveiling comes exposure. With blessing comes responsibility. With clarity comes the urgency to act. The prophecy over your life is not passive. It demands participation. Heaven can set the stage, but you must walk onto it. God can open the door, but you must step through it. And what happens next will depend on your willingness to trust the unfolding. So don't look for fireworks or dramatic signs. Look for the quiet alignments, the subtle confirmations, the unexplainable peace that washes over you when you least expect it. These are the fingerprints of God, marking your path as sacred. And as they appear, let them build your faith that the prophecy is not only real, it is active. The unveiling has begun. You are stepping out of shadows you didn't even realize were holding you back. The voice that once felt faint is now thundering in your spirit. The path that seemed blocked is beginning to clear, and though others may not yet see it, you will feel it with every fiber of your being. Destiny is no longer waiting in silence, it is calling your name into the open. Every prophecy carries layers, and what is unfolding in your life now is no exception. On the surface, it may look like a series of small changes, coincidences, or even interruptions to your routine. But beneath the surface, there is a spiritual architecture being revealed, one that explains why the unveiling had to come exactly in this way, at this time. Think of your life as a great journey across shifting landscapes. Some seasons felt like deserts, where you wandered thirsty and weary, wondering if the promise had evaporated. Others felt like storms, where winds howled against you, and every step forward cost you something precious. And then there were those fleeting moments of sunlight, brief windows of joy that seemed to vanish just as quickly as they arrived. Every one of those seasons was a chapter, and every chapter had meaning. The deeper meaning of this prophecy is that your journey was never about survival alone. It was about transformation. It was about turning your wilderness into wisdom, your storms into strength, your fleeting sunlight into eternal light that could not be taken away. This is why the trials pressed you harder than others. They were meant to strip away illusions until nothing was left but truth. Destiny is not random. It operates by seasons, much like the earth. There is a time to sow, a time to water, a time to wait in darkness, and a time to reap. You've already walked through sowing and waiting. What this prophecy confirms is that your season of reaping is dawning, not because you forced it, but because it is time. Heaven has rhythms, and right now, your rhythm is shifting. But understand this, fulfillment does not come without depth. The prophecy unfolding over you is not about surface blessings or fleeting gains. It is about anchoring you so deeply in your divine identity that nothing external can shake you again. It is about pulling you out of the endless cycles of self-doubt, of comparison, of fear, and planting you firmly in the truth that you are chosen, appointed, and anointed for a purpose that cannot be replicated by anyone else. Consider the storm. On the outside, it looks like destruction, trees bending, waves crashing, skies breaking open. But within the storm, the air is being cleared. Old heat is being released. Balance is being restored. In the same way, the storms in your life weren't meant to destroy you. They were designed to reset the atmosphere around you. They stripped away what couldn't stay so that what must stay could finally take root. Now think of the door. For years, it seemed locked. You knocked, you prayed, you waited, and still it would not open. What you didn't see was that the lock wasn't broken. It was sealed by timing. The key was never lost. It was being held until the exact moment when the door could open into something greater than you expected. And now, that key is in your hand. This Saturday morning, the latch is being released, and you are stepping into spaces you once thought were barred to you. And then there's the journey. You've walked through valleys that felt endless, mountains that seemed impossible. But here is the truth. Journeys are not about the distance covered, they're about the strength gained. Every valley carved depth in you. Every mountain carved resilience. You've been shaped into someone who not only survives the journey but carries wisdom from it. That wisdom is the very thing others will need in the seasons to come. The prophecy is more than a promise of personal blessing. It is a call to become a vessel. What you've endured is not wasted. It becomes a testimony. The strength you've gained becomes strength you can offer. The wisdom you've harvested becomes light for those still stumbling in darkness. Your transformation is not for you alone. It's for everyone your life will touch. So when you feel the shift in your spirit, Don't think of it as only your reward. Think of it as your activation. You are stepping into alignment not just for your own sake, but because heaven intends to flow through you in ways you've barely imagined. That's why the waiting was long. That's why the battles were intense. Because what's being entrusted to you is weighty, it is holy. And this is why the prophecy carries depth. It is not merely about what happens to you, but what happens through you. You are being transformed so that you can be a catalyst for transformation in others. You are being lifted so you can lift. You are being healed so you can heal. Every detail of your story has been woven with this purpose in mind. Now, as the prophecy continues to unfold, you will begin to see the layers peel back. You will begin to understand that the timing was never late, the pain was never wasted, and the silence was never empty. It was all a divine sequence leading you to this exact threshold where meaning is no longer hidden, but revealed. When prophecy begins to move from the unseen into the seen, it always carries signs, quiet confirmations that whisper, yes, this is real. Yes, this is unfolding right now. They may not look dramatic at first. In fact, they often arrive in the small details of your life, so subtle that others overlook them. But to you, they will feel different. They will stir something deep within you, something that cannot be dismissed. One of the first signs is synchronicity. Suddenly, you start noticing patterns that seem too precise to be chance. You think of someone, and they reach out within hours. You dream a fragment of a scene, and then live it days later. Numbers, symbols, even repeated words will cross your path as if the universe itself is echoing heaven's message. These are not random, they are confirmations that you are in alignment with a greater order. Another sign is restlessness turning into peace. For so long you've carried an unease, like your spirit was pacing inside you, waiting for something. But as the prophecy begins to unfold, that restlessness shifts. You wake up with an unusual calm, even when circumstances haven't changed. The weight feels lighter, the noise less distracting. It is as if your spirit already knows. The battle is turning. That peace is heaven's fingerprint on your soul. You may also notice unusual resistance. Yes, confirmation doesn't always come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes, just as the blessing draws near, obstacles seem to rise out of nowhere. People misunderstand you. Opportunities are delayed. Distractions multiply. At first glance, it looks like sabotage. But in truth, it is proof that something is shifting. Resistance is often the shadow cast by breakthrough. Another sign is divine encounters. You meet someone at the right place, at the right time, who speaks exactly what you needed to hear. It could be a stranger, a friend, or even something you overhear in passing, but the words land so precisely that you know they were not ordinary. They were placed there as confirmation that you are not walking alone, and that heaven is orchestrating even the smallest interactions. Dreams also sharpen in this season. What once felt scattered now carries weight. You wake with impressions that cling to you, images that refuse to fade. They may not always make sense, but you feel their pull. Pay attention, because dreams are often the language of prophecy, delivering messages your waking mind is too distracted to hear. And then there is the sign of inner strength. Out of nowhere, the things that used to break you no longer have the same power. The insults bounce off. The fear doesn't paralyze. The same pressures that once crushed you now reveal your resilience. That shift is not accidental. It is confirmation that you are being prepared to carry what's coming. These signs may seem ordinary to the outside world, but to you, they will feel extraordinary. They are threads of assurance, weaving together the fabric of prophecy until you realize this is not wishful thinking, this is destiny unfolding. So as you move forward, keep your spirit awake. Notice the alignments, honor the peace, withstand the resistance, and treasure the encounters. Each one is a signpost, pointing you toward the fulfillment that is closer than it has ever been. Every prophecy carries promise, but it also carries weight. And before the fullness of that promise manifests, there are always challenges, hidden tests that rise not to break you, but to reveal you. These challenges are not punishments, they are refinements. They come to separate what is fragile from what is unshakable, so that when destiny lands in your hands, you can hold it without fear of losing it. One of the first hidden challenges is silence. Even as confirmations begin to appear, there will still be moments when heaven feels quiet, when prayers seem unanswered, when guidance doesn't arrive on your schedule. This silence is not absence, it is training. It is teaching you to trust what was spoken, even when you don't hear it repeated. Silence strengthens your ability to walk by faith, not by sight. Another challenge is opposition from unexpected places. Sometimes, the very people you thought would celebrate your rising are the ones who resist it the most. They question you, dismiss you, or even attempt to undermine you. It's painful because you expected support. But understand this: the challenge of opposition is meant to teach you that validation must come from above, not from those around you. If everyone affirmed you, you'd lean on their voices instead of God's. There is also the challenge of delay. The prophecy is active, but its timing may not match your impatience. You will face days when it feels like nothing is moving, when the doors remain closed longer than you hoped. Delay is not denial, it is calibration. It ensures that everything aligns perfectly, not partially. The challenge of delay is training you to rest in divine timing instead of forcing your own. Distraction is another subtle test. Just when your spirit begins to rise, the world will throw noise at you. Temptations, old habits, sudden opportunities that look good but aren't God. All of these are designed to pull your focus. The challenge of distraction is meant to sharpen your discernment, teaching you how to separate what is urgent from what is eternal. And then there is the challenge of weariness. Destiny requires endurance, and sometimes the waiting, the battles, and the misunderstandings leave you drained. You wonder if you have the strength to keep going. But in that weakness, something sacred happens. Your dependence shifts. You stop relying on your own strength and discover the endless reservoir of divine strength carrying you forward. These hidden challenges are not signs that the prophecy has failed. They are signs that the prophecy is too valuable to hand over without testing. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined by fire. And so it is with you. The challenges you face now are heaven's way of ensuring that nothing shallow, nothing false, nothing temporary will cling to you when the fulfillment arrives. So do not fear the silence, the opposition, the delay, the distractions, or even the weariness. They are not here to defeat you. They are here to confirm that what is coming is too great to be entrusted to anyone unprepared. You are being tested because you are trusted. And once you pass through these challenges, you will carry the prophecy with a strength that cannot be broken. Every prophecy calls for response. It is not enough to hear that destiny is unfolding. You are invited to step into it, to participate in its fulfillment. This is where divine instruction enters, not as a list of burdens, but as guidance from heaven to prepare your spirit, your mind, and even your body for what is coming. These instructions are both sacred duty and personal empowerment, shaping you into someone who can carry the prophecy without faltering. The first instruction is simple yet profound. Guard your atmosphere. What you allow into your space through conversations, environments, and even the thoughts you entertain shapes the condition of your spirit. You cannot afford to feed on negativity, gossip, or fear. Instead, saturate your space with light. Read the words that bring clarity. Surround yourself with voices that lift, not drain. Play the sounds that draw you closer to peace, not chaos. Your atmosphere becomes the soil in which the prophecy takes root. The second instruction: honor your alignment. Destiny is not reached by scattered living. It requires focus. Pay attention to the nudges of your spirit. When you feel pulled to pause, pause. When you feel urged to move, move. Heaven will often redirect you quietly, through intuition and gentle impressions. Do not dismiss them. They are not random thoughts. They are instructions disguised as whispers. The third instruction: prepare your vessel. Your body, your habits, your daily rhythms, they are not insignificant. If you are to carry heavy purpose, you need strength to sustain it. Rest when you must. Nourish yourself with intention. Release the habits that drain you. This is not about perfection. It is about readiness. The prophecy requires endurance, and preparation ensures you don't collapse when the weight of blessing arrives. The fourth instruction: keep your oil full. Just as the wise virgins in the parable kept their lamps ready for the bridegroom, you are called to remain filled with faith, prayer, and intimacy with God. Do not let distractions cause your oil to run low. Set aside time daily to reconnect, to refill, to remind yourself that this is not your journey alone. Your oil is your readiness, and without it, even an open door cannot be entered. The fifth instruction: release what cannot go with you. Not every relationship, not every mindset, not every attachment is meant to cross into your next season. Some things served their purpose in the past, but will weigh you down in the future. Be willing to let go of what heaven is asking you to release. If you cling to what is fading, you will delay what is rising. Trust that what is meant for you will remain, and what leaves is making room for something greater. The sixth instruction: walk in expectation. This doesn't mean arrogance, it means posture. Expectation is faith in action. It is choosing to wake up each day not asking if, but declaring when. It is aligning your words, your thoughts, and your choices with the certainty that what was promised will come. Expectation keeps your spirit sharp and your eyes open to the signs unfolding around you. And finally, the seventh instruction: act when the moment arrives. Prophecy is not passive, it requires movement. There will come a moment when the door swings open, when the opportunity presents itself, when the confirmation is undeniable. In that moment, hesitation will cost you. Fear will try to whisper, "You're not ready." But faith will remind you, "You were born for this." When that moment arrives, step boldly. Trust that every battle, every silence, every delay was training you for this exact step. These instructions are not burdens, they are gifts. They are heaven's way of equipping you, ensuring that when the prophecy manifests, you are not overwhelmed but empowered. They protect you from distraction, strengthen you against resistance, and align you with the rhythm of divine timing. So as you carry these instructions, let them settle into your daily rhythm. Guard your atmosphere. Honor your alignment. Prepare your vessel. Keep your oil full. Release what cannot go with you. Walk in expectation, and when the moment comes, act with courage. Follow these steps, and you will not only witness the prophecy, you will live it, fully and without regret. Even with all the instructions, even with all the preparation, there will still be moments when fear tries to creep in, whispering that you are alone, that you are vulnerable, that somehow the prophecy will slip through your fingers. But here is the truth: you must hold like a shield. You are not unprotected. You are surrounded, covered, and guarded by a presence greater than anything that could ever rise against you. Protection doesn't always mean the absence of battle. It means the certainty of victory. It means that though weapons may form, they cannot prosper. It means that though storms may rage, they cannot sweep you away. Divine assurance is this: the same hand that wrote the prophecy over your life is the hand that shields you as it unfolds. Picture it for a moment. Around you is a hedge, an invisible barrier of light and strength. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but you felt it in the moments when danger should have overtaken you but didn't. You felt it in the nights when despair tried to drown you but failed. That was no coincidence. That was divine protection holding you steady. There are angels assigned to your journey, messengers of heaven who walk beside you even when you're unaware. They whisper strength into your spirit. They deflect battles you never even saw. They clear paths that looked impossible. When you step forward in obedience, You are not stepping alone. You are stepping with an army at your side. And assurance means this: you are never abandoned. Silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean neglect. When you feel least capable, that is often when God is carrying you most closely. Like a shepherd guiding the flock through valleys and hills, he knows every step you take. He is not surprised by your detours or shaken by your mistakes. His protection adjusts, covering you, redirecting you, lifting you again and again. Even your weaknesses are not vulnerabilities to him, they are invitations. Where you are fragile, his strength becomes your shield. Where you are uncertain, his wisdom becomes your guide. Where you are weary, his presence becomes your rest. Assurance is not about pretending you are invincible. It is about knowing you are never uncovered. So when the battles rise, when the doubts scream louder than faith, remind yourself of this truth: you are surrounded, you are held, you are watched over by one who cannot fail. And because of that, every step forward is secure, even when you don't yet see the road clearly. The prophecy over your life is not fragile, it is fortified. It is not hanging by a thread, it is anchored in eternal strength. And as you walk through the unfolding, let peace guard your heart, let trust steady your steps. Let assurance remind you, no matter what comes, you are protected by a covering that cannot be broken. When prophecy shifts from promise into fulfillment, it does not simply alter circumstances, it transforms you. The greatest evidence of the word coming to pass is not just in what you receive, but in who you become. Fulfillment is not about things, it is about identity. It is about walking into a version of yourself that matches the vision heaven always held for you. This is the season where you begin to notice change, not only around you but within you. The doubts that once tangled your mind loosen their grip. The heaviness that used to sit on your chest is replaced with lightness. What once intimidated you no longer shakes you. It is not because the battles vanished, it is because you have been reshaped. The prophecy fulfilled in you makes you stronger, wiser, clearer, and more grounded. Transformation means your perspective shifts. You stop asking, "Why me?" and begin declaring, "For such a time as this." You see trials as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. You look at people differently, less threatened, more discerning, more compassionate. You realize that everything you endured was part of chiseling away what was temporary, so that the eternal within you could shine. And fulfillment, it arrives in waves. Sometimes it looks like opportunities you couldn't manufacture, doors swinging open, platforms appearing, relationships forming that feel undeniably orchestrated. Sometimes it looks like inner healing, realizing that what used to trigger you no longer owns you, that wounds once raw have now become scars of wisdom. Other times it looks like peace, the kind of peace that cannot be explained, the kind that remains steady even in uncertainty. Imagine it. The seeds you sowed in tears now breaking through the soil in joy. The nights you endured in silence now bearing fruit in clarity. The prayers you whispered when no one else was listening now echoing back to you in answered form. This is transformation becoming visible, fulfillment becoming tangible. But here's the beauty. The fulfillment is not the end, it's the beginning. Because once you are transformed, once you embody the prophecy, you become a carrier of it for others. Your story becomes a map for someone else wandering in their wilderness. Your endurance becomes inspiration for someone ready to give up. Your breakthrough becomes a prophecy to those who have not yet seen theirs. And you will know it's real not just by what changes for you, but by the way others begin to be impacted through you. People will see the glow on your life and not know how to explain it. They will sense the authority in your words, the weight in your presence. They may not understand the journey, but they will not be able to deny the transformation. This is the promise of fulfillment, not that you would simply arrive, but that you would arrive different, that you would emerge carrying wisdom deeper than your years, strength greater than your trials, peace louder than your storms. You will look back and realize, Every valley was necessary, every battle was training, every silence was sacred, because without them, you would not be the vessel you are now. So let gratitude rise in you. Let hope flood your spirit. Let joy take its rightful place in your heart. For the prophecy is not just unfolding, it is being fulfilled. And as it does, it is rewriting the very definition of who you are. Now that you've walked through the revelation, the instructions, the challenges, and the fulfillment, it is time to seal this moment. Words carry power. What you declare becomes what you step into. So let these affirmations become your anchor, your reminder, your daily weapon as you continue forward. Speak them aloud, not timidly but with confidence, as if heaven itself is echoing them back to you. Affirmation 1. I am aligned with divine timing, and nothing can steal what is mine. Let this remind you that every delay was only preparation, and now every step is unfolding right on schedule. Affirmation 2. I walk in strength, covered and protected by heaven's hand. Let this silence fear, reminding you that no opposition can overtake you, because divine protection surrounds you. Affirmation 3. I carry the prophecy within me, and I will see it fulfilled. Let this strengthen your resolve. You are not hoping blindly, you are walking in certainty. Affirmation 4. I am transformed, and I live as a vessel of light for others. Let this keep you grounded. Fulfillment is not just for you, it is meant to overflow through you. Carry these words with you. Repeat them in the morning when doubts try to cloud your thoughts. Whisper them at night when weariness threatens to settle in. Declare them in moments of decision when faith feels like a fragile flame. These affirmations will keep that flame burning until it becomes an unshakable fire. And now, receive this blessing. May peace settle over your heart like the morning dew. May strength rise within you like the breaking of dawn. May every shadow that tried to hide you be dissolved in the light of your calling. May you walk boldly into doors that no one else could open, knowing they were crafted for you alone. May every step you take confirm the prophecy, until your life becomes the living testimony of heaven's promise fulfilled. You are not walking into uncertainty, you are walking into destiny. You are not carrying this alone, you are surrounded by divine protection, divine timing, divine assurance. Every part of your journey has led here, and from this moment forward, you are stepping into a season where what was once spoken in whispers is shouted in reality. Go in confidence, go in faith, go with the certainty that the prophecy is alive, and it is unfolding even now. And as you do, remember, you are covered, you are chosen, and you are blessed.